And here we have it, Battle of Legends Volume 3, the final Battle of Legends box. And shout out to all the people watching this video because your copy comes in this week and you just cannot wait. I know that I was very, very tempted to watch a few unboxings before this guy came in today, or yesterday from when the video is posting. So I'm trying to go in as blind as I can possible. We can all kind of see everything for the first time together. But I don't blame you if you watch some other unboxings and got some spoilers, because this one is definitely a fun set. As it seems a little bit controversial, some people do not like the box cover of this one. And if I am correct here, I believe the artist that did Loki did the entirety of the box art. So a lot of the art that's going to be on the other decks are from different artists. So everybody has their taste in, art. So I like that they usually switch it up in between the fighters. So you can definitely find someone that you definitely enjoy. I think in person, I definitely like it a lot more. I think it was a little bit jarring when I first saw it, just because it was very new and definitely a particular art style. But I think in person it turns out really, really nice. And just looking at here in person, I do like that each of these gold rings all have a different kind of thing going on here. Like, Kenny kind of has some like hair and like branches going through with the skulls, and he has some runes with some leaves popping out. And then she's got some more, I believe, Greek kind of lettering type look going on there. Then he's got these kind of almost looks like a bracelet going on. And I think for the first time I've noticed that he has these weird little things coming out of his hand. But yeah, so let's check out the entirety of the outside of the box. I definitely love always checking out there. We got 4 miniatures, which... Wait, we have 4. Oh, for some reason I'm so used to Marvel boxes being 3. I was like, oh, one of these guys comes with the second miniature. No, we got 4 miniatures. I was just dumb there. We've got Blackbeard, Chupacabra, Pandora, and Loki. And then we got 2 to 4 players as usual, 20 to 40 minutes there, pretty usual, 133 cards, and 2 battlefields. Yes, super excited that we finally have our double-sided battlefields kind of going back to the standard here. So let's take a look at the side of the boxes here. This first one is a Blackbeard art. I think Blackbeard is going to be my favorite art in the box, and maybe even my favorite fighter. With the Witcher sets, I was very excited for the Leshen, and then he was kind of lackluster. I didn't like him as much, but we'll see how this goes. I really like the side art here with Loki. Very, very cool. You can check out all the details going on here. Very, very cool. The top here, we have Pandora. And I feel like hers is very unique compared to everybody else. It looks like a very kind of clean, more like real-life proportions kind of art style. And I love these monsters on the side here. I do not know a lot about Pandora, so I'm going to be very ignorant as we go through her deck. So hopefully some people can correct me and tell me more about them. And then we have the vicious Chupacabra on the other side here. Love how that turned out. And let's take a look at the back here. So once again, we saw that we have the double-sided boards here with Venice and Santa's Workshop. And I believe Santa's Workshop has some type of like conveyor belt mechanic. I did get spoiled out a little bit, but we'll have to take a look and see how the rules go here. And then we have all of our miniatures here for Blackbeard, Chupacabra, Pandora, and Loki. And this is going to be difficult. Just looking at the pictures here, I can't tell which one's my favorite. I kind of like Blackbeard, but Pandora I do think is very cool as well. I kind of wanted Chupacabra maybe a little bit more vicious, but I've kind of seen that his mouth is a little bit crazy there. I think maybe it shows on his artwork there. Yeah, here on the front here, you can just see his mouth is very crazy with hundreds and hundreds of teeth in there. So yeah, let's keep looking here. We got 2 of them have our solo fighters here, and then 2 of them have sidekicks. So the sidekicks for Blackbeard here is the Sea Dogs. Very cool. We have 2 separate arts there. I love that they did that. Oh, and then sweet. Okay. Oh shoot. Yeah. So I'm gonna say that title right there. So this title here, I don't want to mispronounce it, but those 2 kind of demon-looking guys on the side here, looks like those are our sidekicks. Okay, so I was going in expectation Blackbeard. I'm starting to like Pandora. We'll have to see how she plays. And then we kind of see a spoiler for a couple of the cards here, as well as a couple of the different things here. I do believe that, yep, Pandora has some extra cards for basically her Pandora's box, and then Blackbeard has doubloons. I'm very excited. It looks like there's gonna be quite the ability there. So yeah, let's open it up and take a quick look at all the components before we go through each of the individual cards. And okay, so this one looks a little bit new. I think some of the boxes have this, just kind of going through all of the other Restoration Game stuff here. Keep looking. Okay, cool. So we got Ninja Turtles on here, and look at those miniatures. I'm so excited to see these in person, especially the Shredder and Krang there. I love that those are just like a little bit of colors of the scarf and of Krang in the middle there. Very cool. We have the other adventures there. Return to Dark Tower. We got, all of the Thunder Road stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of expansions for Thunder Road. And then a couple of their other games here. I actually did not know that Dinosaur Tea Party was a part of their lineup. So that's very cool. Cool. So we got our Restoration Games plan foot. And then we have our set rules, and I love that they're continuing to do this where all these set specific rules are in their own little pamphlet. And actually, yeah, I don't know if the other pamphlet had this, but it looks like each of them are getting a full page instead of kind of sharing all of their stuff on one page and just getting a corner of it. Very, very cool. Some cool artwork there. I don't know if that's Loki, but someone's getting shot here. Very cool. I like this deep green color that they got going on. Then we also have the core rules, something that we're very used to, and I believe they have not changed this up, so this is kind of going to be the exact same throughout the sets. And I do like the mix and match all of our heroes here, kind of like what you can do by buying both Beowulf and Robin Hood here and have them fight each other. Very, very cool. Just skimming to see if there's anything new here. Nope, looks about the same. Okay. So this is now where we're getting into the fun stuff here. So we got all of our health dials here. Okay, shoot. Loki's health dial, I think, might be my favorite. That is sick. And we have our 0 with a flame. Very cool. And actually, it looks like it goes from light all the way to darker, darker, darker as you get down to the flame there. Very, very freaking cool. And then Chupacabra's mouth. Okay, these health dials are really, like, these are amazing. Okay, all the teeth there. We don't have a special 0, but that's fine. And then we have Pandora here. Very, very cool. No special 0. And then we got a lot for Blackbeard here. We have Blackbeard's treasury. So I have no idea what this does or what it is. And then we only have 3 of Blackbeard's doubloons. So it doesn't look like we have any more. Okay, interesting. So I heard about how the doubloons work, but I was assuming you'd get quite a few doubloons, and they're all different shapes and all different stamps, which is kind of cool. But yeah, we only get 3 doubloons. That's very interesting. So I didn't know that you'd be maxed out. I thought maybe you could like save up a bunch, but it looks like only 3. And then we have the steering wheel of a ship. I think it's called maybe something different, but the wheel of the ship. And then, okay, cool. X marks the spot for 0. And then we can take a quick look at the back of the doubloons there and the back of the health dials. Nothing too crazy. I do like that you get the back of the wheel as well, but I think Loki's health dial is going to be my favorite. That looks freaking awesome. The 2-headed bird there that I'm guessing like a wolf creature or something. Very, very cool. And I'm honestly, I'm like even more excited to see Blackbeard's deck because I thought you were going to get a bunch of doubloons, like at least like 9 or something. Very, very cool. Let's keep going here. And it looks like the first map that we're going to see here is Venice. And I like that they picked this because it kind of feels like just a really odd choice, but a very cool choice. I like that, you know, it's really like swapping it up. Like this is not where a place that you would like normally battle at, but very, very cool. I'm just kind of looking around, seeing if there's anything that like stands out to me. I do like our little birds flying around everywhere. It looks like we have a couple of paths that go over each other, but they don't connect. So that's kind of cool. A lot of like over-under paths, kind of going like down in the canals and then hopping up on top of the rooftops. Very, very cool. And then on the back side here, yep, here is Santa's workshop. I like how when they revealed this one, everybody thought we were getting Santa Claus as a fighter, but nope, we are sadly not. And then, yeah, so I have obviously tried to keep myself blind on this, so I just have to kind of do a little guesswork here before we read the rules. But yeah, it looks like if you hop on this conveyor belt, it kind of pushes you down, maybe end of your turn, like you get an extra boost in maneuver, I don't know. And then it looks like it ends on this catapult, so maybe, yeah, it doesn't look like there's like a spot like mentioned of where you go, so maybe you could choose, maybe it's random. I don't know, I'm very excited to see that. And then we have a couple of those one-way paths popping up everywhere, so definitely a very cool map to like shake it up. I always like the more quirky maps because, you know, kind of helps newer players kind of get that randomness to not fall too far behind. Very, very cool. Okay, let's keep going in here. I think we're going to take a look at these sidekick tokens here first before we go into the miniatures. I'm going to save this for last because I am probably the most excited for those. So it looks like, okay, so here is Pandora's sidekicks, if we can get a good image there. Very, very cool. Okay, yeah, Pandora might be my favorite. These guys are freaking awesome. And I like, yep, that we got 2 different artworks here for her 2 little demon friends. Hopefully I will learn to pronounce what their actual names are before we go into the decks. And then we also have our 2 sidekicks here with the 2 pirates. Okay, very cool. I believe the Sea Dogs is what they were called. It looks like the art is the same on the back. Very, very cool. I'm definitely vibing with this Sea Dog, but I also like this Fu Manchu with the eye patch there. Very, very fun. Okay, I am loving this set. Let's go ahead and put them in their spot. Looks like Blackbeard goes there and Pandora goes there. Then we can take a quick glimpse at the card backs here. So I do also think this one's cool, but for some reason, that health dial is just speaking to me. I don't know, like I mean, this isn't the exact same style, but that one is so much more cooler than this one. Very, very cool. Then we have our front there. We can just get a quick glance. I'm not going to read through this just yet because we will be going through the deck in just a moment. And obviously we have our little slots to add their health dials. Let's take a look at Blackbeard's card back. I like that they did like the dotted line for the border instead, and then we have a little X marks the spot in the corner. Not as cool, I think, out of the card backs. If I take a quick glance You know what? I think Pandora, once again, might be my favorite. I think the art for Pandora is just going to really steal me over and make her my favorite here. But yeah, we got Blackbeard and the Sea Dogs, and we can take a quick look here. Once again, I'm not going to be reading through it just yet, so we can take a look at it later. Of course, once again, a slot for the health dials there. And then we have Chupacabra here. And I'm torn whether or not I like this, because I do like that he's hiding between the leaves there, and I like that the outline is kind of like this blood trail going around. The front looks cool. Okay, I do like this contrasting red and green. Very cool. Leaves rustling. Very cool. But I almost like want it to be maybe a little bit darker. Like I feel like the leaves and the blood color is just a little too bright. But you know what? As I look through the artwork, maybe I'll change my mind, because actually this hero card with the bright colors is, I actually really like that. Very cool. Let's keep going. And this is our first one. We got stuff under it, so we'll put that aside just for now. And we have Pandora's card back here. And yep, I think this might be my favorite one. I love the chain. Wow, that is really cool. Definitely something I did not notice when I saw the reveal for the card back there, because I was trying not to look too detailed. But the chain around the end is really, really cool. And there's a lot of symbolism here. I'm guessing that our more Pandora lore experts here will understand exactly what they mean. But it's very, very cool. Front here, yeah, oh my gosh, yeah, this orange and that kind of like really light tan is, or like light yellow, is very, very cool. Awesome. Okay, cool. That is awesome. Let's go right into the cards here. We're going to check out what they look like, not quite what they say just yet, because we'll be going through all of the decks in just a second. But looks like all of the Pandora cards. How many of these do we have? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Makes sense. And then all of the, okay, cool. They all have different arts going through them. Of course, different effects, but we will learn them in just a second. Very, very cool. I like how these are turning out. And I feel like these are maybe a little bit more glossy than the other cards, but maybe I'm wrong. Let's keep going. Of course, we have our little rivets that we can use to put our health dials together. And now we can start taking a look at our miniatures here. And first up, we have Loki. I want to make sure that this is pointed correctly so we can see him in all of his glory. Very, very cool. Let me pull this guy in there. There we go. Light it up just a little bit nicer. All right, yeah, there's Loki. Very, very cool. I always love the detail that they're able to fit into these tiny miniatures. And he's got a huge, long ponytail there. Very, very cool. Obviously, I would say I know more about the Marvel Loki than the actual mythical Loki, so I'm excited to kind of learn the differences and see where the inspiration for Marvel came from. Very, very cool. And I like the color that they used for the base there. Like, I feel like it's like slightly darker than Robin Hood's, but maybe I could be wrong. And then we have Pandora here, and yes, I really, really like this miniature here. And I'm not sure if that is Pandora's box on her chest there. I said, kind of don't know the lore too well, just like very, very common knowledge, I would say. But I really like how this one's turning out, and I'm definitely excited to learn more about her. But very cool. I think, yeah, going into it, Pandora might become my favorite at the end of this video. And then we have Chupacabra, and man, that guy is bony and he looks malnourished. He definitely looks like he would do anything to get a quick bite into that 100-tooth mouth. And I like how the spikes kind of get longer as they go down his tail. Very cool. I like how he's perched up on a rock as well. And yeah, you know what? I think they leaned into like lighter colors for everything. So I would kind of expect maybe Loki to be like a darker or more pale color. Same with the Chupacabra, but they chose really light colors. And I kind of like that. Kind of like more fantastical, more like fun, because also the maps are Venice and, you know, Santa's Workshop. So very, very cool. Definitely really like how that miniature turned out. And we can take a look at our last miniature here. And yeah, okay, Blackbeard I think might be my favorite. This is awesome. I like that he's outstretched in both, and we have his sheath there for his sword. That is awesome. Very, very cool. I like how far he is stretched. This is very, very cool. I kind of want to see Blackbeard versus Aridin, because they both have their black bases in this very epic pose. Very, very cool. And is he pretty tall compared to everybody else? Let me also check out the height here. Yeah, so it looks like he's a little bit taller. Let me also bring out Pandora here. Yeah, he looks like he's on the taller side compared to most fighters, so definitely gonna be very, very menacing. Very cool. Okay, yeah, and before we move on, we can quickly take a quick look at the artworks here. Looks like we have some artworks of the Sea Dogs. Very, very cool. And then on the side here, we have the Chupacabra. Yeah, it looks a lot more menacing here. Kind of like a panther prowling. Very cool. And then on this side here, we have Pandora. Once again, like looks more like lifelike, like almost like they traced over a real photo. Very, very cool. And then lastly, okay, awesome, we have Loki here, and it looks like he was painting over a statue. Very, very fun. Cool. All right, well, that is everything that comes in the box. If you're interested to go through all of the decks with me, I'm going to go through each one by one, and let's get into it. Okay, so first up, we're going to take a look at the Chupacabra. I think I'm most middle excited for this one. I think definitely Pandora and Blackbeard I'm the most excited for. So let's start it out easy. Let's look at the Chupacabra here. Just get another detailed look at this miniature. Just absolutely fantastic. They always knock it out of the park with the miniatures. And then we can see what the health dial looks like all assembled here. Very, very cool. I actually am really liking the teeth here on the logo, or on the health dial, and the 0 is just a normal 0, but we have 14, so middle in the health compared to our other fighters there. We can go right into the health, or sorry, the hero card here with the Chupacabra, and it's a melee fighter with 14 health and a move of 3, so a fast guy here. And his ability is the Hunger. After you attack, you may draw a card. So I like how simple we're getting here, you know? He's just a melee fighter. He's a 3 move, so on the faster side, but after attack, you may draw a card. So I do like that. It kind of makes maybe more relentless in this deck, but yeah, let's get into it. I'm going in blind here, guys. So just like you, if you've not seen the cards, we're going to be looking through them for the first time here. So sometimes reading through the deck and then playing it later, it'll totally change. So let's just see our first impressions here as we read it here. So the first card we're seeing here is a 2 attack for the Chupacabra with 3 boost and 2 copies, and this is Ambush. During combat, your opponent discards 1 random card, add its boost values to this card's value. So one that we have seen before, and it's nice to have that with a animalistic fighter here. And then next we're going right into all these teeth with a 4 attack for the Chupacabra with 2 boost 3 copies, and this is Feeding. After combat, if Chupacabra has 7 or less health, gain 1 action and it recovers 1 health. Interesting. Okay, cool. So, as he's getting on his last legs there with only 7 health, you get a bonus action and recovering 1 health. And you got to remember, after attacking with any of these cards, you can also draw a card. So you're getting 1 health action and draw a card if you're under 7 health. Very interesting. Next here is a 0 attack for the Chupacabra, and this is the More They Struggle with a 3 boost 3 copies. And this is during combat, the value of this card is equal to twice the printed value of your opponent's card. Okay, this is the one card I did see. I love these green hands all over here. At first, the time I saw it, I thought they were leaves, but no, those are all hands getting distorted in different ways. But very, very cool. I wish we had more effects like this in the game. I love that you're baiting your opponent to play some big defense, like a 5, and then you'll be just basically guaranteeing a 5 damage as well. So very, very cool. And if your opponent doesn't defend at all, it's just a 0, but you still get that card draw. So very, very cool. Might be my favorite card from the deck unless something can top it. Next here is a 4 attack for the Chupacabra with 4 boost and 3 copies, and this is Blood in the Air. During combat, if you've already won a combat this turn, you may boost this card. Very, very cool. So with a 4 with a boost, I mean, hey, if you use the other copies here, this could be an 8. Very, very strong. And then you get another card draw. So it seems like Chupacabra here wants to deal lots and lots of damage. Let's see if he can defend himself as well, going right into our defenses here. A 3 defense for Chupacabra with 3 boost 2 copies, and this is Natural Toughness. After combat, if you lost the combat, return this card to your hand. Very cool. I always like effects like that. And then, that's all of our defense cards. Moving into our versatile cards, we gotta have a feint. This is a 2 versatile for Chupacabra, 2 boost 3 copies, and it's immediately cancel all effects on your opponent's card. A card we all know, and it's always nice to see a new rendition with a new fighter in that style. Next here is a 2 versatile for the Chupacabra with 2 boost 3 copies, and this is Tooth and Nail. Oh, sorry, Tooth and Tail, not Tooth and Nail. After combat, deal 1 damage to up to 2 fighters adjacent to Chupacabra. Deal 1 damage to up to 2 fighters adjacent to Chupacabra. Chupacabra recovers 1 health for each fighter damaged this way. Very, very cool. Okay, so dealing out 2 damage to 2 different fighters adjacent to them, and then also recovering 1 health for each. It says up to 2 fighters, so I'm guessing you can't deal 1 damage twice to the same fighter, but by the way that's worded. So 2 health recovery, and then once again, if you use this as an attack, you're going to be getting that extra card. I do like that that's versatile. Very cool. Healing on your opponent's turn. Next with 3 versatile for Chupacabra, and I like how we're getting a border break there with 1 boost, 3 copies, and this is Wounded Beast. During combat, if Chupacabra has 7 or less health, this card's value is 5. Interesting. So he's hitting very hard. I mean, his defenses aren't too bad here so far, but it seems like he almost wants to not defend or defend pretty low in the early game so that he can get to that 7 or less health and, get some bigger damages here potentially. Next is a versatile 3 for Chupacabra with 2 boost 3 copies, and this is Ravenous Lunge. After combat, if Chupacabra after combat, Chupacabra recovers 1 health. If you won the combat, it recovers 2 health instead. Cool, so kind of a regroup for health gain. Very, very cool. I like that. And then lastly here, we're going into our schemes for Chupacabra. And I like this, how we're be able to see this guy here first, and then you can see just Chupacabra just prowling in the middle of the night. Okay, this is Unsettle with 2 boost 2 copies. Choose an opponent with a fighter in Chupacabra's zone. They discard 1 card. You may deal 2 damage to Chupacabra to make them discard 2 cards instead. Okay, so going back to that one here, I believe, yeah, this one here, you could win. I mean, you have to get action gain, I guess. But yeah, if you're able to make your opponent discard 2 cards, that's the last 2 cards they have, get blood in the air and boost this up to an 8, I mean, yeah, you can definitely set up some pretty lethal combos here. You get 2 of those. And then next we have with Chupacabra, this is a scheme for 3, boost 3 copies. This is Traveler of the Night. And I'm not sure if Moon Knight has this card, but I'm definitely, this looks reminiscent of a Moon Knight card. But this is move your fighter up to 4 spaces. They may move through opposing fighters, gain 1 action. That's very cool. I mean, he already has that 3 move, but you are not running away from Chupacabra. Very cool. And of course, 3 boosts are going to be great for that boost card. Very cool. I am liking Chupacabra. I mean, I feel like he may be on the more simpler side, so maybe a more aggressive character to give to new players, but very, very cool. Let's move on to the next fighter. Okay, next up is Loki. I saved Pandora and Blackbeard for the very end, 'cause I'm most excited for them. But yeah, let's get right into Loki here. We can take another quick look at his miniature, and I think they did a fantastic job. Although he is balancing on 1 foot, he is pretty stable. I mean, he has a little bit of bend to him, but that's more him rattling inside this base here. So if I hold that down, you can see he doesn't wiggle too much. So I'm not too worried about him breaking, but I do love the dynamic poses they're given to our fighters here. We can take another quick look at our health dial now punched through, and also have our rivet in there. And I want to see as we go down in health here, I believe it gets darker and darker as, yep, there we go. So it takes a second to do, but you can see it's lighter here with the 7. As we go 6, 5, 4, it starts getting darker and darker until we hit the flame. Very, very cool. I love when they do the special little tiny details for the health dials. Loki's going to be definitely one of my favorites overall. Very close to the way they did Willow's. So yeah, we can take a look at Loki's hero card here. He is a melee fighter with 16 health, so I believe the biggest in this set here, with a move of 2, and our hero ability here is Mischief Monger. After you play a trick, put that card in your opponent's hand instead of your discard pile. If an opponent discards a trick card from their hand, return that card to their hand or the top of your deck. Add +1 to your move value for each trick in your opponent's hand. Okay, cool. So, I mean, it's going to be pretty easy to track that last one there, because you can see the card back in their hands. You have to ask them every time. So, very, very cool. So, we can go from a move to, I don't know, we'll see how many tricks we have in this deck here, but I like that we can be boosting up our move here with how many tricks we have there. And then also says here, if an opponent discards a trick card from their hand, return that card to your hand or the top of your deck. So very, very cool. I like how you get to choose if you want it directly in your hand or if you want to put it on top of your deck to draw for later. Very, very cool. Let's go in there, and I kind of ordered a little bit different here, because as I was ordering them, I noticed that there's any cards here, which I'm guessing are all the tricks, and then the rest are Loki's. So let's take a look at all the any cards first. I'm guessing all of the tricks, and starting here with a 4 attack for any with no boost value, and then 3 copies. And this is Trick, Baldur's Downfall. So that's that artwork we saw before with this guy. So now we know his name is Baldur, and he's been shot in his poor little tummy. And this says Loki, after combat, draw 1 card. Not Loki, after combat, deal 2 damage to your hero. Okay, so I have not read through the rulebook yet, but just hoping I get this correct here. Since you are putting tricks, let me see here. I believe it said after you play it. Yep, after you play a trick, put that card in your opponent's hand instead of your discard pile. So after you would play this, it goes into your opponent's hand. So you are giving them a 4 attack here, but they take 2 damage when they play it. So not the best card, and plus as they hold it, they're going to be giving you +1 to your movement there. But so that's yeah, so we're learning Trick here together for the first time. Loki, whenever he plays it, he gets that draw card, and your opponent has to deal 2 damage. So 2 damage is pretty bad, but you know, a 4 attack is not too bad, especially, I mean, you know what, I need to take a second here, because I'm realizing if your opponent attacks you with it, it's going to have your card back. So you're going to know that they're playing it. So you're going to know that it's a 4 value, because you're going to be able to memorize what cards you have already given your opponent. So it might be way, way easier to predict that they're about to play this card and know how much you want to defend for a 4 value. So I was thinking a 4 value might be kind of nice to give the opponent, even if they take 2 damage, but you're going to know it's coming, so it's going to make it a lot weaker. So interesting. That's all of our attack tricks here. So our next trick here is a versatile of 2 for any with 2 copies, and this is Trick Freya's Rescue or Frasia's Rescue. And then it is when Loki plays it, it's during combat, swap the values of your card and your opponent's card. And if it's not Loki, after combat, Loki recovers 3 health. Okay, cool. So this one is very, very interesting, because yeah, 2 definitely would be a good swap, especially if you're defending and they play a huge printed value card. And it's not, yeah, actually, it's not even printed value. It's values of your card. So they could potentially have an immediately card that like bumps up their value, and then you're swapping that value. And then when your opponent plays it, you're going to know they have it. So you can just not defend, and you'll take 2 damage and then basically recover 1 at the end of it. So definitely a card they kind of want to keep in their hand and not play, because it's going to kind of suck. But, you know, not too bad when you think about it, because if they keep it in their hand, they're going to be giving you another movement there. And I'm guessing maybe they'll have other cards here that have to do with tricks in your hand. A very, very cool trick. So definitely like this one a little bit more than the first one we saw. Next is a 3 defense for any with 2 copies, and this is Trick. This is Sindri's Bet. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing all of these names right. So when Loki plays it, it's during combat. Your opponent may discard a card. If they don't, subtract 3 from their card's value. Your opponent may discard a card. If they don't, subtract 3 from their card's value. Okay, so that includes a trick there. Remember, whenever they discard a trick, either you can put it back in your hand or you can put it on your deck. So definitely a interesting thing here. So yeah, so I'm thinking, I mean, sometimes it'd be good to discard it just to give it back to your opponent, but obviously they're going to play it and go back in there. There's definitely a lot to think about in this deck. I'm like pausing because I'm thinking of all the possibilities here. So yeah, let's keep going here. With not Loki, this is after combat, Loki returns the top card of their discard pile to their hand. Very interesting, man. Like, these tricks are tricky, to say the least. Now going on to a skiing trick here, and this is Svalidifari's Lure. Hopefully I said that correctly. We have 2 copies of that. And when Loki plays it, is place an opposing fighter adjacent to Loki. Not Loki. Loki reveals a card in your hand. Discard that card. Interesting. Loki reveals a card in your hand, discard that card. So it doesn't say he gets to look at your hand, so he just takes a card from your hand, looks at it, and then you discard it. I mean, I'm guessing that you get to see any discarded card, but I'm guessing that's probably the best way to say that they pick a card without looking. Very interesting. I might have to see if the rulebook clarifies that a little bit more, but very cool. And I think that's the last of our tricks. Yeah. So now we're getting into the Loki cards. So your opponent will not be getting these unless something says different. So our first card here, using a lot of that artwork that we saw in the health dial, and this is a 0 attack for Loki with 2 boost, 4 copies, and this is Shapeshifter. During combat, choose 1 effect, add 1 to this card's value for each card in your opponent's hand, and gain 1 action. Very, very cool. Okay, so I'm trying to think. So let me see how many cards we got here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So obviously the most that we're going to have is 7. So, you know, there's definitely a lot of cards you can push into their hand, but obviously if they're drawing a lot or being greedy with their cards. So the most it's going to be is a 7. So it's not too crazy, but I do like that you can play it, and if you know you're not going to get a huge value, you can instead gain an action. But very interesting. I'm trying to think of... Yeah, you know what? I'm thinking if you play this card as a 0 and then they defend with a high enough value, you would just go for the gain action instead, because you're not going to be dealing damage anyways. And if they don't defend or defend with a low value, then you can get those +1s. Okay, so I do think I like this card. At first I was like, you know what? Doesn't seem very good, but actually thinking about it more, I actually really like that card. And then moving on to another 0 attack for Loki. Maybe this will be a trend going forward. 0 attack for Loki with 3 boosts and 2 copies. And this is Ragnarok. This card's effects cannot be canceled. During combat, add +3 to this card's value for each trick in your opponent's hand. Okay, so this is where the tricks are definitely going to kill you. I mean, yeah, we had 9 there, so you can have a lot. I mean, +3, so if they have 3 tricks in their hand, that's a 9 attack value. I mean, obviously it can be feinted or canceled or whatever, but a 9 attack for only 3, I feel like 3 is not going to be a hard amount of tricks to get into your opponent's hand, especially because if they discard, you get it right back, and there was ways to get your discard pile back into your deck. So definitely very, very scary. I guess this is the time I can quickly pull out the foil that you can get from pre-ordering the set here. And there is Ragnarok, and then, you know, where Loki is in the middle, a little bit of the spikes on the side, and then this top bar here is all nice and shiny. So very cool. And we can keep on going. I'm definitely really liking this deck as we go. A lot more of a thinker for this deck, a lot more setup. And then we have a 4 attack for Loki with 3 boost, 3 copies, and this is Looking for Trouble. Immediately, if your opponent played a card, return it to their hand, look at their hand, and choose a card for them to play. Okay, very interesting. So it's a 4 attack here, so not too shabby of an attack, and it seems like you can choose for them to play a trick, which means that you get it back, so then you can play it again, and then put it back in their hand. Very, very cool. Loki is... I mean, needless to say, quite the trickster here. Definitely seems like it can be very, very strong. I'm just trying to think of how much setup you need to do, because like sometimes there's a lot of like really strong effects, but you have to like have a perfect game. But it kind of seems there's a lot of flexibility here, or a lot of these are going to line up even if you didn't try too hard. So very interesting. Moving on to our first versatile here for Loki, a versatile of 2 with 3 boosts, 3 copies, and this is Lavatine. I'm hoping I'm saying that correctly. Probably not. We're just going to move on before I get anything more wrong with that. This is during combat. Reveal a card in your opponent's hand. Add its boost value to this card's value. If you reveal a trick, put it in your hand. Okay, interesting. I was about to go and check what our boost values were for tricks to see if they were high boost values. I believe they didn't have any boost values. If we can pull them out. Yeah, no boost values on any of those. Very interesting. I'm trying to think of like what our highest boost value is. There's a lot of like, I mean, we saw with Chupacabras, there's 4. I think that's the highest that we've seen boost value wise potentially. So around about a 6, or just a way to get a trick back in your hand if your opponent just refuses to play that trick and give it back to you. And once again, with those tricks, once you get it back, you just play it again. It goes right back in their hand. So funny here. Let's keep going here with a 3 versatile for Loki with 3 boost, 3 copies. And this is Malicious Flighting. Interesting. After combat, draw 1 card. If your opponent played a trick, draw 2 cards instead. Very, very cool. I like all the interactions here we're getting with tricks. And then next here we have a versatile 3 for Loki with 2 boost, 3 copies, and this is Underhanded. During combat, if your opponent has more cards in their hand than you, this card's value is 6. And so I like we're getting more interaction of having your opponent have more cards, which makes sense because they're going to have to be maneuvering to catch up with you if they have you have more tricks in their hands, so you can have a higher move value, making them draw more cards. So it does make sense that your opponent's going to have a lot more cards usually. And then next here is a 2 versatile for Loki with 3 boost, 3 copies, and this is God of Mischief. Immediately, if your opponent played a trick, ignore that card's value. Otherwise, cancel all effects on your opponent's card. Okay, very, very cool. So thinking back to the tricks that we saw, that 1/4 that I was a little bit worried about, this is like the perfect card to play, especially if you know that the only ones they have in their hand are those 4 attacks. You're just going to ignore it. They're not going to deal any damage to you, and then deal 2 damage to themselves. So very, very strong. And obviously, you can always tell whenever they're going to play a trick because your card back will be there. Very interesting. And then, you know, if they're not playing a trick, you just get a feint. Very, very cool. But a feint with a nice big boost value. Okay, Loki is very, very cool. I think he may not be my style, but I think playing against him or playing as him is still going to be very, very fun. I like this new mechanic of trick, and I feel like the way they laid it out is super, super easy to understand, even from first glance. I mean, I haven't even read the like little pamphlet, like rule book explaining it better. All I did was read the hero card, read it here, and I fully understood it, I believe, unless something changes there. But very, very cool. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so we decided to do Blackbeard last, but we're getting right into Pandora here, and we can check out her miniature again. I, once again, love how this turned out. I feel like there's so many little tiny details, and I do love the pose they chose, and I love this yellow color. It's really grown on me. It's not quite gold, but it is gold. Very, very cool. And you know what? I tried to do my research here with this word here. It's cacodemons. For whatever reason, searching this has like almost no results, and like 3 videos I watched to try to pronounce it all pronounced it separately. So I'm just gonna say cacodemons. Hopefully that's not embarrassing that I'm saying it that way. If anybody wants to write it down phonetically in the comments, that would be super, super helpful. And a lot of them, like the way that they spelled it was 2 C's instead of 2 K's. So I don't know if that's like a Restoration Games thing, or I'm just not researching it correctly, but I would love to know how to pronounce these correctly. I'm just gonna say cacodemons or cacodemons. Both sound wrong in my head, but just know that I'm trying my best here. So we can take a look at these cacodemons here, and I love how they look. And you know what? I'm just going to call them demons because they look like little demons here, and that's easier to say than mispronouncing it a million times if I am wrong by the research I did. And then looking at the health dial here, it's nice, just elegant and graceful. I'm sad that we don't have a 0 here. Even like a fun little tentacle there would be awesome, or a picture of like the symbol on the box or something, but I'll take what we are getting here. So this one has a rule card, so let's read it together and see if we can figure it out without opening that rule book here. So Pandora is a melee fighter with 14 health, and then the demons are melee with 2 of them, both 1 health, and they are a move of 2 together. And this is Pandora's box. Do not start with any demons on the board. At the start of your turn, open Pandora's box. Okay, so I'm guessing that's what this rule card here is, that says Pandora's box. And it says Pandora's box is a deck of 7 cards, those guys there, called Miseries. When you open Pandora's box, reveal the top card and resolve its effects, if any. You may keep revealing and resolving additional cards one at a time until you choose to stop. Interesting. Okay, so opening it, you just keep flipping. Interesting. If there are 3 or more total feathers on revealed cards, you must stop revealing. Then Pandora takes 1 damage for each revealed misery. At the end of your turn, shuffle all revealed misery cards back into your deck. Okay, interesting. So you just keep going, and then let me just double check here. So I believe it said 3 of those feathers. Yeah, 3 or more total feathers on revealed cards. You must stop revealing. Then Pandora takes 1 damage for each revealed misery. Okay, so we're gambling now. And also the back of that card says the exact same thing. So we have 7 of these. So let's see how, what's the average here that you should be flipping? Is it just 1? Is it 2? I don't know. Let's keep looking. So looking here, the first one, misery here, is toil, and this is add +1 to the value of Pandora's attacks this turn, and we got 1 feather. And then we got pain, deal 1 damage to each opposing fighter adjacent to Pandora. Interesting. Misfortune, okay, so we just immediately get 2 feathers, so I'm guessing that that's going to be the most feathers you have there. Confusion, move Pandora up to 1 space, so a free kind of maneuver there, over half maneuver. Hope, look at the top card of Pandora's box before deciding whether to reveal it. Okay, cool, and there's no feathers on this, so definitely a high roll. Greed, draw 1 card, and whoa, summon a demon in Pandora's zone. Okay, so I'm hoping that the demons are super helpful. I really like them, so I'm hoping we see them a bunch. So this is definitely one that you want to be hopefully revealing a bunch. And let's see here. So it looks like we have 3 that have no feathers. We have 3 that have feathers, and then 1 that has 2 feathers. So it seems like for the most part, if you reveal no feathers, you might as well go for the second, especially because a lot of those are going to help you anyways. And then if you reveal 1, that's where the greed sets in, where it's a most likely chance you won't bust on the second one. But if you reveal misfortune, you really probably don't want to reveal another one. Very cool. I like the metagaming here. And it's only 1 damage. I mean, we're at 14, so hopefully we have health to spare to kind of gamble a bunch of times. And I guess if you're behind, you might gamble some more, but that might set you even farther behind. Very cool. I like that's a really fun effect. I think although there's a whole rules card here, it is very simple. I think you maybe just read that once and then you know how to do it. It's very cool. I love the way they handled that. Let's go into the deck here, and I love once again how this card back turned out, and I think it might be my favorite through the entire box here. So let's look into this. We have a 3 attack for Pandora with 2 boosts and 3 copies, and this is Hindsight. After combat, if you won the combat, return a card from your discard pile to the top of your deck. Very cool. We have 3 of those. Potentially could do, I guess, another one if you do the 2 of those in a row. Next here is a 3 attack for Pandora with 4 boost 3 copies, and this is Hera's Curiosity. During combat, add +1 to this card's value for each revealed misery. After combat, look at your opponent's hand. Okay, very, very interesting. So potentially up to a 7. I guess you can't get 7 because you have to reveal. How many can you reveal? Is it all of them? Because we have all of these feathers. We can reveal all 3 of these, I believe. Yep, and that won't bust us. So yeah, so the most you can reveal is 5 without going over. I guess technically you could do 6, but you would just take that 1 damage as long as this is your last one. So very interesting. I'm guessing, so unless I calculated that wrong, 6 is the most that you can do on this one, so you can get a 9, technically 3 9 attacks if you make sure you reveal up to 6, but you have to be super, super lucky and have misfortune be on the absolute bottom. So it might be worth taking that 1 damage just to maximize how many miseries are on the table. Very interesting. Moving next into a 2 versatile for Pandora with 1 boost and 2 copies, and this is Offering to the Gods. During combat, you may boost this card, and I saw we had some big boosts here, like with this 4. After combat, if you won the combat, deal 2 damage to the opposing fighter. Very cool. I love some good boosts on defense because it's definitely makes you feel like you can kind of adjust how committed you are in that boosting. Next here is a 3 boost. Oh, sorry, I don't know why I said 3. A 0 boost for Pandora with 3 boost and then 2 copies. And this is Celestial Remnants. During combat, ignore the value of your opponent's card. Okay, so far I'm liking the defense options we have here. Kind of makes me think that we can gamble a lot because that 1 damage is, we're not going to be taking too much damage, hopefully, so we have a lot of health to work with that box. Next here with a 3 versatile for Pandora with 1 boost, 2 copies, and this is Divine Intervention. After combat, move Pandora up to 5 spaces. Okay, I like that. So maybe, if your fighters are split up a bunch, you can attack one and then immediately move 5 spaces and then attack again to someone else that's far away, or run away if you're defending. Very, very cool. Pandora is becoming my favorite here. Blackbeard is going to have a lot to live up here. Next is a scheme for Pandora with 1 boost, 2 copies, and this is Zeus's Mischief. Draw 1 card for each revealed misery, move an opposing fighter up to 1 space, and gain 1 action. Okay, so I like that we're We're really getting incentivized to have a lot of these miseries up for grabs. And then next here, we're looking at our demon cards. A 3 attack for the demons with 2 boost 2 copies, and this is Spite. After combat, deal 1 damage to each fighter adjacent to your fighter. Okay, and you know, they're expendable demons. I like what we're seeing so far with the demons. A 2 versatile for the demons with 2 boost 2 copies, and this is Malice. After combat, your opponent discards 1 card. Okay, so yeah, I think so far, without playing this deck before, I think I'm definitely going to be gambling with that Pandora's box to get these demons on the board. And then next for both the demons and for Pandora here is a 0 attack with 3 boost 3 copies. This is Aphrodite's Beauty. Immediately cancel all effects on your opponent's card. After combat, Pandora recovers 1 health for each revealed misery. Very interesting. I like that's very interesting, putting it on an attack card. And this can also work as having the demons attack, so that there's kind of more guarantee that the Pandora won't be taking any damage. So once again, I think if you push it all the way to the end, 6 is the most that you can get. So 3 6 health recoveries potentially is very good. I'm gonna guess you're probably gonna reveal 2, maybe 3 on average for your turn. So 2 to 3 health on each one is, I think, very strong. Next is a 2 versatile for any with 3 boost 3 copies, and this is Guided by the Fates. During combat, discard the top card of your deck, add its boost value to this card's value. After combat, if you won the combat, Pandora recovers 2 health. Okay, so I'm getting my answer here. Not only do we have some good defenses, but we have some good health gain. So we can be pushing ourselves to the limit with Pandora's box and not really caring about just that 1 damage. If it said like lose an action, that would be a way riskier play. And I think maybe make it like me deciding whether or not I'm just gonna reveal 1 and be done. This one I'm like, I feel like I'm just gonna push it every time. But next here is a 2 versatile for any with 2 boost 2 3 copies, and this is Faint, one we all know here. Immediately cancel all effects on your opponent's card. And I do like that the demons are on here too. Yes, they're getting their shot in the limelight. And then our last cards here with a Scheme for any, Forged by Hephaestus, hopefully I said that right, with 1 boost and 3 copies. Place your fighter in any space, gain 1 action. Dang, and that works for both of the demons and Pandora, so you can definitely get yourself up nice and close for that big, huge attack. Where was that guy? This one, or if he had another big attack here. But yeah, I think Pandora might be my favorite here. A good value for kind of all the different ways that you play. Definitely a playstyle that I might be enjoying. Let's get on to our last fighter. Okay, and finishing our video out here with our 4th fighter of the set, we have Blackbeard. Very cool. I might have to examine this one off camera. I'm seeing a bunch of guns all up and down his belt here on his chest. This guy, and there's an axe on the side. He is armed head to toe with weapons. Very, very cool. And then we both have our sea dogs that we saw before. I like the 2 expressions. Still vibing with this dude. Very, very cool. And then we can also once again take a look at our health dial here. And the numbers don't change too much as they go down, but our 0 is the X marks the spot. And then we have our steering wheel, or hopefully, I feel like there's a more of a boat term for steering wheel, but the helm, maybe? Helm? Is that correct? I don't know. Let's keep going. We can go right into the character card here with Blackbeard, a ranged fighter with 13 health. And then we have the Sea Dogs, both melee fighters that are the 2 1 health sidekicks and a move of 2. And this is Privateer turned Pirate. Start the game with 1 doubloon in the treasury. You have the other 2. At the start of your turn, you may pay 1 doubloon to gain 1 action. When Blackbeard takes combat damage, pay 1 doubloon. Okay, so only combat damage, not effect damage. Very cool. And then we can go on to our extra rules card and see if this fills us in with everything else. And this is Blackbeard's doubloons. Doubloons that Blackbeard doesn't have are kept in the treasury, so that treasure chest there. Blackbeard pays a doubloon to the treasury when he takes combat damage. He may also pay a doubloon at the start of his turn to gain 1 action. And then effects on, let's see here. The effects on many of Blackbeard's cards can be ignored by playing a ransom. Any player can pay the amount of doubloons shown at the end of an effect to ignore that effect. These doubloons are taken from the treasury and given to Blackbeard. Okay, so I'm guessing if we're doing a 1v1, you would just give your opponent the treasury and they can just place those doubloons there. Or I guess they don't even technically need the treasury, they can just hold them. But if you're playing with teams, or if you're playing like free-for-all, like it said any player, so we'll see what the cards say, but is that a thing of only the opponent you're attacking can pay, or can your like a different opponent pay like a thing to like mess up the combat that you two are doing? I don't know. Let's get into it here with our last fighter. This is a 2 attack for Blackbeard, and there's all those guns we saw on his chest there with 2 boost, 2 copies, and this is a brace of primed pistols. After combat, deal 3 damage to the opposing fighter in Blackbeard's zone unless 2 doubloons. Okay, interesting. So that's the thing is I wonder when you have to decide. I'm guessing when the effect happens. So I could potentially be attacking one opponent with a 2 and then deal 3 damage to an opposing fighter, so a different like full player, and that player that I'm attacking can choose to pay the 2 doubloons. Very interesting, because there's only 3 total, so you know, if there's more than one fighter you're against, they may be like, you may be incentivized to pay it earlier because your opponent might use up all of the balloons before you have a chance. So next here is an attack of 5 for Blackbeard with 3 boost, 2 copies, and this is a Vasti. So I'm like, we're getting some pirate lingo here, and this artwork looks very, very cool. Immediately, your opponent discards 1 card unless 1 doubloon. After combat, deal 1 damage to each opposing fighter in Blackbeard's zone unless 1 doubloon. So yeah, so definitely there's a lot of stuff that can happen to you even if you're not in the combat. But definitely some strong cards unless, you know, you have the doubloon. So I guess it's kind of an interesting thing. So you have to take that combat damage, so only up to 3, but then also you can pay into the system. And is there a limit here, or can you pay more than 1? At the start of your turn, you may pay 1 doubloon to gain 1 action. Okay, so you can't pay 3 doubloons and gain 3 actions. So unless he's taking damage, you're getting 1 in the treasury every turn, max. Unless maybe some of these cards say differently. Next, going into a 4 defense for Blackbeard with 1 boost, 2 copies, and this is Intimidating Visage. After combat, if Blackbeard is adjacent to an opposing fighter, he recovers 2 health. Very cool. So definitely stronger against, because this is a defense here, stronger against the melee fighters than the ranged fighters. But I guess that makes sense because he is ranged there. And then next going to our versatile, so a versatile of 3 for Blackbeard with 1 boost, 3 copies, and this is Fearsome and Calculating. Immediately look at your opponent's hand and choose 1 card from the discard unless 1 doubloon. Yeah, so definitely some decisions here of when to use those doubloons. Next, going to a 7 versatile for Blackbeard with 3 boost, 2 copies. This is Queen Anne's Revenge. This card's effects cannot be cancelled. During combat, subtract 2 from this card's value for each doubloon your opponent pays. Okay, so we can't just flat out cancel it, but he can do subtract 2. Okay, so if he has a total of 3, it would go all the way down to 1, or you can just go down until it matches yours. Very interesting. So a 7 that can become a 1 if you pay all 3. Interesting, interesting. Going on to our schemes here for Blackbeard, this is Scourge of the 7 Seas with 2 boost, 2 copies. And this is Blackbeard recovers 2 health unless doubloon, summon a sea dog in any space unless doubloon, and gain 1 action unless doubloon. That's kind of cool. I like a scheme with our 3 different effects, and then your opponent can choose technically to cancel all 3 or just cancel the ones that would be the best for you. Very cool. And we get 2 of those. Moving on here, we have another scheme for Blackbeard. This is Plunder with 2 boost, 3 copies. Move each of your fighters up to 3 spaces. They may move through opposing fighters. Steal 1 doubloon from the treasury. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. That's the pirate way. You pay 1 doubloon into the treasury and then immediately steal it back after gaining that action. So I guess technically, if you know you're going to do this on your turn, you're paying 1 at the start of your turn and then stealing it back. So this card basically has gain 1 action on it. Interesting. And then moving to our sea dogs here with an attack of 2, and there's our pirate that we vibe with 3 boost, 3 copies, and this is Light the Fuse. After combat, move your fighter up to 2 spaces, then deal 1 damage to each fighter adjacent to them. Very, very fun. So you're kind of running in the middle, hopefully, and blowing up as many people as possible, and you get 3 of those. That's pretty fun. And then next here we have, so that was all of our Sea Dog specifics. Next is a 3 attack for any with 1 boost, 3 copies, and this is Give No Quarter. During combat, if another friendly fighter is adjacent to the opposing fighter, this card's value is 5 instead. Given no quarter here. So, sorry, let me read that one more time. If another friendly fighter is adjacent to the opposing fighter, this card's value is 5 instead. Okay, so kind of like, I forget the word, but it was the one that, Oda had in his thing. I think flanked. So it's basically flank. If your opponent is flanked, this card's value is 5 instead. Interesting. After combat, gain 1 action unless doubloon. Okay, cool. Let's keep going here. We have a 2 versatile for any with 2 boost, 2 copies, and this is Show a Leg. After combat, summon a sea dog in Blackbeard's zone. Okay, Show a Leg. Interesting. Maybe that's a reference to something I'm not getting, but I like it. Show a leg. Okay. This is a 2 versatile for any with 2 boost 3 copies, and this is no pray, no pay. During combat, you may boost this card. After combat, if you won the combat, draw 1 card. Interesting, there's no doubloon stuff on here. Gaining doubloons or taking from the treasury for one that's called no pray, no pay. And then our last card here is a 3 versatile for any with 2 boost 3 copies, and this is parlay. Immediately cancel all effects on your opponent's card unless 2 doubloons are paid. Very cool, and Blackbeard is looking real menacing weight in the back, and he's showing both of his legs there. Very cool. And that is Blackbeard. Let's go to my final thoughts, and we can also kind of look through the box. So in these unboxing videos, I always like to look at what everything looks like in the box, especially for new players. Restoration Games does an amazing job at making inserts where we have our labeled section for all 4 of our fighters, as well as a place to put both of our sidekick tokens. And then underneath the cards is where you fit perfectly flush. In the bottom there, the health dials, as well as like Pandora has her cards there. And then underneath those cards, we have our health dial. And same thing here with Blackbeard. He has his doubloons in his chest, and underneath that is the health dial. So they do an amazing job with making all of the inserts work perfectly to keep your game nice and safe, as well as keep your fighters perfectly safe there. And then we can bring in our map, shove that on top, and grab all of our paperwork, put those on top, and close up the box. And that is how everything fits in the box. Now, when it comes to final thoughts, I think it might have been super obvious from there. I think going into it, I was most excited for Blackbeard, maybe Chupacabra second, and then these 2 were tied for 3rd and 4th. But now that I've read through the decks, I've not played with them yet, I think I'm going to have to rank them probably Pandora first, and then Loki, and then Blackbeard, then Chupacabra. Not that Chupacabra is bad, but just because nothing too crazy's happened there. It just seems like a nice aggressive character. But Pandora definitely stood out to me there. I'm hoping that someone can let me know how to pronounce the demons there, because Cacodemon sounds like almost disrespectful to those demons. But maybe that's how you say it. I don't know. And then Blackbeard was a little overwhelming. Maybe I just kind of wished, I think just from the reveals that I saw, I kind of wish that there was 10 or 15 doubloons that you can give out, and you give them to specific players. I feel like only having 3 feels kind of limiting. Feels like there could have been a lot more interaction, but I definitely like all 4 of these fighters, and this is definitely a very fun set to even have as your first set. Yeah, so if you've been on the channel before, you have seen that I usually like to store all of my fighters in these little boxes with these labels. So I have gone ahead and made labels for all 4 of these fighters. So those will all be in the description, so you can download them and store them the exact same way that I do. And before I go, I do want to quickly ask that if you guys know a lot about the lore of these characters. I feel like I know very minimal stuff about all 4 of these. Maybe a little bit more about Loki, but more about the Marvel stuff. So I feel like that doesn't count. And then Blackbeard to me is just a pirate. Maybe I've seen a little bit of Pirates of the Caribbean, but I feel like I don't really know a lot of the lore and more deep cut information about all 4 of these characters. So please feel free to comment all of the fun and subtle references that I missed throughout the deck, or just different things that a card super represents a character because of something from their lore, something from their story. I would love to just read through those and learn more and more about these characters. Now, I gotta go. My toast is burning.